Hello YouTube, this is Dakota from Bowtied Media, and the man, the myth, the legend is back. Zedd indeed is here with his first album single in, I want to say almost a decade at this point, but regardless, Zedd is here. We've got some bit of music here and there throughout the last bit of time, but nothing truly bigger. No real project has come out in a long time, but he recently announced his LP3, Telos, coming out in about, 2 months, 2.5 months from the time of this recording, and he's out with a brand new single, Out of Time, featuring Bea Miller. And so, this is a first listen track. This is a track that I'm excited for to hear from Zedd. I have not heard this at all yet, and so without any further ado, let's hop into this and see if Zedd still has that classic flair that we know and love from Zedd. So here we go. This is Out of Time. Feels like a very Zedd start to honestly, like just the simple chords at the beginning.
Somebody help me, I might lose my mind like a memory chasing sunlight, dreamy-eyed like a memory fading endlessly. For I'm out of time.
Okay, where we're going here? What are we doing? We building.
Out of time. Tell me the cycles of highs and pull me in closer. Finally, this right.
Okay, really fascinating first section. I don't want to spoil many of my thoughts right now, but I'm a little confused. I'll tell you that. Okay, it seems like it's going to be a simultaneous record, supposedly, with how that ended. But okay, Out of Time with Bea Miller, featuring Bea Miller. What do I think of that track? I didn't like that at all. I don't know if that is... I have literally seen very little online discourse for this track at all. So I'm so intrigued to see what people hear about it after seeing this, or after I finish this. Yeah, that wasn't great. And let me talk about why. So first off, this had all the recipe for a Zedd track. This felt like this was straight off of True Colors. It actually felt a lot like the True Colors title track, with its kind of long bit of intro, with like the certain way that it just sort of builds off one another, or just builds and builds and builds and builds with like just like the chords, and then the laying the melody, and then the vocals, and then bringing in more of that melody, and then more of the bass, and then like it feels like a very Zedd track that builds upon itself one after another. But I just felt that track really lacked any substance, honestly. Even after the first little bit, I was really confused because it felt like the key that the song was in, like the backing production was different than what Bea was singing in. It felt like it was slightly different at the very and when she dropped down in her vocal range for the next part there, like she went like that their kind of thing. Obviously, I'm not a great singer myself. That's kind of when things locked back into gear and they kind of synced up again for me. But the first little bit of the vocals, it felt like they were quite distant, and I felt that for the most part of the track, actually, that the vocals felt like completely different than the rest of the track. And I think this is a big mixing issue more so than anything, where it felt like yeah, there's just a distance between. There's a dissonance that where the vocals feel unnaturally placed on top of the track, where it feels like it's almost like like an underground SoundCloud song that you'd hear, that they're like, oh hey, this is a track that's done, but it needs to have vocals, so I'm just gonna throw vocals on top. There wasn't really any interaction with the vocals and the track, and even on the drop sections, Zedd just did not pull the vocals back. I think it's a pretty common thing for producers like Zedd, because Bea's not the main artist of this track, to pull the vocals back a little bit and let the melody kind of shine, let the synth run, let that like your real production here shine. And Zedd didn't do that here. He kind of let Bea's chorus vocals take over, and it buried a lot of the sonic elements of the melody, and I wasn't for that. And also the lead into the melody just didn't really have any substance at all. It didn't really come in. It just kind of it just happened. Like there wasn't the song kept building and building and building, but there wasn't like this grand like sustain that kind of like ushers you into this drop section. It kind of just like, oh yeah, and here's your kind of like electro house drop now, like your progressive electro house, like it's just like na 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 na, and it just didn't really have any like real explosiveness to it that I feel like I've come to know and love from Zedd tracks. True Colors as a record is a great example of how well Zedd does these explosive tracks. It just comes from like a 0 to 100 in the matter of like 30 seconds, and brings you on for this journey of a ride, and pairs it with the vocals too. But I just felt like it was not here. Like, I don't know. Like that just I felt like the drops were just like the whole part of the whole song just felt like it was just getting like kicked down in the dirt. Like it just felt like it was not what it wanted to be. It was like a crappy knockoff version of the original. Like when someone makes a track from previews, like bar for bar kind of thing, and they try to imitate the track so that you can like use it for copyright free stuff or whatever. That sounds like what this was, honestly, to me. Yeah, I was not a fan of this track, and that really surprised me, because I was a huge Zedd fan in the past, and I still like a lot of the Zedd stuff that was coming out recently. I think Zedd is a massive name, but I really not impressed with this first track, and I am so intrigued to see where it's going to go from here, where this record's going to go, and if my opinion's going to change on this much. But yeah, first track, not up my alley. I thought it felt like a rip-off version of Zedd, and that's not what I wanted to hear or expected from the first single of this upcoming record. So, but yeah, that is my thoughts. I'm very curious to hear what you have to say. Very, very curious what you have to say about this track. Any and all comments in the comment section below, please. I would love to keep the dialogue going with this track for a while. But other than that, I'm Dakota from Bowtied Media, and I'll see you guys in another video.